The Sports 2000 Championship is brought to you by Creative Funding Solutions. Welcome along to Brands Hatch. Some great racing lined up for you today on the Indy circuit here. Rounds 8, 9 and 10 of the championship. But before racing gets underway, let's find out a little bit more about things from Club Secretary Roger Donnan.
Triple header for you this weekend for the Sports 2000 and a really good grid coming up.
Yes, indeed. It's the first time we've tried a triple header, so it's going to be a learning experience for everyone, and we're really looking forward to it.
So far, it looks ideal weather conditions as well, maybe hot for the drivers, but just tell us a little bit more about Sports 2000, what it's about and what makes it up.
Okay, I mean the main idea of Sports 2000 is it's a sports prototype series, so they are cars, open-top cars with covered wheels. We run the Ford 2-litre engine, hence Sports 2000, but the main thing is it's a controlled series. We all run the same engines, we're not allowed to tune them, we have the same tyres, the same wings if we're running wings, the same ECUs on the engine, so it's trying to make it as level playing field as possible, so it's the driving that makes the difference.
Am I right in saying two different classes? Just explain a little bit more about those.
Yeah, I mean, originally it's Ford 2000 with a Formula Ford, went to Formula Ford 2000. We used the Pinto engine, the Pinto 2000. So we have the Pinto engine cars. They're the earlier cars that date from 1977 through to the end of the 80s. And they run a Ford Pinto, non-tuned, so standard engine, and they can be identified by the fact they don't have a rear wing. And they put out 120 odd horsepower. So they're down on power compared to the second class, which is the Digitex class. Digitex were brought in as the Pintos were starting to age, so it's brought in as a sort of a more modern version, and we run a Ford Digitex 2-litre 16 valve, again with controlled ECU and such like, so it's as level as it can be, and so they make about 200 horsepower.
So triple headers are 3 races to any of our new viewers. That's a lot of seat time for drivers as well.
It is. But it's about getting value for your money for your weekends. A lot of people have got other commitments, families and such like, so they want to get the track time in without spending the weekends away. So we made a policy decision, we wouldn't have any single headers, only the double headers and triple headers. So you get the races in without losing weekends.
It's Neil Burrows on pole position from Tom Stoughton and Joshua Law. Michael Gibbons fourth from Giles Billingsley, and Timothy Tudor in car with him right now, outside of the third row. Blue skies here at Brands Hatch. Lights are on, ready for the first race. Out they go. Giles Billingsley from row 3 makes a great start. He's got past one car as they head down into Paddock Hill Bend for the first time. Big field of cars in car contact, a little bit of a tap between two cars, a spin, and Josh Law has got a deranged rear wing. You can see that from the onboard. We've got 2 cars out. Neil Burrows and Tim Tudor, the pole position man. Burrows is out of the race. Timothy Tudor is out as well. Now the Pintos have a separate start. Here they are, led by John Harmer. Got Richard Johnson chasing him in the black Duratec car. In fact, there goes Richard past on the inside into Graham Hill Bend. So second place is Chris Snowden in the Pintos from Mike Fry and Trevor Welsh. But the safety car is coming out. That is for the 2 cars at the bottom of Paddock Hill. So here's the replay from Timothy Tudor. Makes a pretty good start. Most of them make a good start, and this is all caused because it's very close going into Paddock. I think there was possibly a little bit of contact between the front 2 cars, and Tim Tudor had no time to react. He was unsighting, the cars are very low down. He does have time to stick his thumb up to say that to the marshals that he's okay. This is Peter Needham starting from the back of the grid, has to take avoiding action. That was a very good reaction from Peter on the grass and survives. Safety car is coming in. It is Tom Stoughton who leads from Michael Gibbons. Giles Billingsley, after that great start, is third. Dominic Lesniewski is next into Paddock Hill Bend for the first time, in car with John Owen, one of many MCRs in the field. Just one non-finish for John so far this season. Leaders around Druids for the first time. Two classes racing in this championship. As we heard Roger explaining, the Digitex will be at the front, the Pintos having effectively a separate start. And there is the leader, John Harmer, out front at the moment. Mike Fry is now into second position in 33. 32 is Chris Snowden, both of those in the Tiger chassis. Fry in the 79 vintage, Chris Snowden racing in the 1981. And I'll tell you what, John Harmer is getting away here. Nice little battle, I thought was about to develop for 4th and 5th place. The 46 of Trevor Welsh and Peter Needham aboard 54. That car will be shared with Josh Needham over the course of the meeting, and this championship is one where you can share a car. It's the car that scores the points. Into Paddock Hill Bend, and Peter having a look at the outside at Paddock, maybe goes for the cutback. You can hear the cars bottoming out there. That is how low to the ground they are and how quick these cars are as well. Dive to the inside by Roger Donnan, the man we heard from at the start of the programme, having a good battle there with Tony Barwell in his MCR. There's battling going on absolutely everywhere, and Peter Needham is passed, so that splits up the Welsh-Needham battle for the moment. I'm sure there'll be plenty of opportunity for it to rekindle over the course of the race. We had a quick look at John Owen in car again with Tony Barwell, not hearing the bottoming out as the drivers ahead of them up towards the front of the field negotiate Paddock Hill Bend, and now around Druids, down Graham Hill into Graham Hill Bend. Now the race leaders will begin to catch some of the Pinto runners and maybe some new runners in Digitex as well, so there will be traffic for them to have to deal with. But look at this onboard shot on the speeds, absolutely amazing. These cars, the front running cars, are in sub 48 second laps, which is extremely quick around here. Most formulae tend to talk about the magic minute, but these cars considerably quicker, and the performance that you get from these cars based on the cost is amazing. Peter Williams, I think, is the first drive. Great job, Peter Williams, superb driving from Peter Williams, pulls right over. It's a job at Brands Hatch with lefts and rights. If you're a car about to be passed by the leaders, where do you go? But Peter pulled right out of the way. Hats off to him. Back with his scrap for 4th position in the Pinto class. And Peter Needham closing up again on Trevor Welsh. Trevor goes to the inside in his Lola T492. You'll notice some of the names that will talk at you as Needham tries a wide run on the exit of Druids. He's looking for absolutely every opportunity, and that looks like a problem for Chris Snowden, who is slowing up. Chris Snowden slows up as they go along Cooper Straight. So these two guys go up a place in the Pintos. It's going to take the crowd. Oh, looking to the inside as we go into clearways was Peter Needham, having a good look there. Loses a wee bit of ground now. So Chris Snowden dropping back. So Pinto-wise at the moment, it's John Harmer, Mike Fry, and then Trevor Welsh and Peter Needham dicing it out for 3rd position in class. Up front it's still Tom Stoughton and Michael Gibbins. 69 car there is Nick Hyatt, the Lola T88. We'll talk more about the cars in later races because it's all going on here at the moment on the Indy circuit at Brands Hatch. It's a very close, very tight circuit when you've got 30 cars that qualified. Clive Steeper goes through shot. The 103 is David Gorst in his MCR. So qualifying is or can be an issue on a tight track when you've got a shorter circuit. There's Andy Chittenden chasing Ashley Law. Ashley along Cooper Straight comes on the left-hander into Surtees, then it's the right-hander into McLaren. Richard Johnson is in the mix, and Richard Johnson's done well. Remember, he was with the Pintos after that first lap problem. Obviously safety car helped him latch himself up with the field, but has had a good recovery through the field. Tom Stoughton still being chased by Michael Gibbins. They're your two leaders in blue. Gibbins putting him under a lot of pressure here. Along Cooper Straight, it's largely, this race could be decided on how these cars deal with the traffic and how the traffic falls for them as much as anything else. But it's the Gun TS11 chassis leading the MCR of Michael Gibbins. The predominance of the field is the MCR. Along the Brabham Straight, so past David Gorse, David running 12th in the Duratec A's. The car's on the last lap. And it's Tom Stoughton who is the traffic falling well. He's driving through the traffic well also. Michael Gibbins, it's a relentless chase, isn't it? The pace of these cars, they've passed Clive Steeper, who is 4th in the Pinto Historics at the moment. Again, I'll try and explain more about the subclasses, as it were, between the Duratecs and the Pintos as the meeting goes on for you. And it looks like Stoughton is pretty much clear now. He's got Mike Dodd between himself and Michael Gibbins, who's coming up towards the checkered flag. It's going to be Tom Stoughton who wins the race. Here we come. It is Tom Stoughton winning from Michael Gibbins, Giles Billingsley third from Dominic Lesniewski, then Nick Bates and John Owen. The 33 car coming towards us now is Mike Fry, running second in the Pintos, but the Pinto class is going to be won by John Harmer. That's 18th place from Mike Fry and Peter Needham. Peter, in the end, getting the better of Trevor Welsh, who crosses the line there. So here's the result. Tom Stoughton from Michael Gibbins and Giles Billingsley. Dominic Lesniewski from Nick Bates and John Owen. Tony Barwell in 7th from Roger Donnan, Richard Johnson and Ashley Law wrapping up the top 10. Then it was Andy Chittenden from Grant Gibson and David Horton. Joshua Law from John Eiley, beg your pardon, and Nick Johnson. Andrew Butler next up from John Harmer and Mike Fry. Peter Needham, Trevor Welsh and Nick Hyatt 22nd. Mike Dodd 23rd, ahead of Clive Steeper, David Gorse, Nick Bailey and Peter Williams. Those are your finishers, and we'll chat to the winners after the break.
Peter, first podium out of the way on a triple header weekend, that must feel pretty good.
Yeah, it's not so bad. We qualified quite badly because my son, who stood over there, is actually driving with me this weekend as well. Because in Sports 2000, it's the car that enters the championship, not just the driver. So you can share it with other drivers, which is really good.
That's a very clever way of doing it, isn't it, really? So that means you don't have to have massive budgets, I suppose, as well.
Well, it just helps with the budget if the two of you share it. We've only just started this year because it's his first year driving this year.
Surely that must mean that you're watching his shoulder and he's watching yours, and your lap times, there must be competitiveness there.
Well, yeah, but he unfortunately he went to Donington at the beginning of the year and then broke his collarbone on a mountain bike accident, so he hasn't driven since. So this is his first time in the car here at Brands Hatch.
So Pinto class, how long have you been doing this for personally?
I've been doing it since 2010.
What got you into this then?
I'm an ex-hill climb driver over the last 30 years, and some friends of mine went circuit racing, so we decided to have a go. And always liked sports cars. I don't like single seaters because of the open wheel bit is too dangerous for me. And we found a Sports 2000 car, which was an old wreck, never run since 1984, and we rebuilt that and came out racing.
John, race 1 done and dusted of the triple header there. Now that was a bit of a funny sort of race with the safety car in between, but you maintained the lead throughout anyway.
Yeah, it was. It was quite fortuitous, probably, actually. Obviously, it was important to get a good start because I had Chris on the outside of me. He's a wily old fox at Brands, I'm sure, so difficult to get past. So I wanted pole and I wanted to stay ahead. It lasted one corner actually, but then with the two cars off in the gravel, it was going to be quite a long time. But I knew Pete Needham had put new tyres on, and he was starting from row 4, and I thought the less time he has to catch, the better. So he was not in the historic class, but nevertheless, it would be nice to take an outright class win, if you like. So no, it was okay. You just had to keep the tyres warm and manage the restart.
Must be pretty tough on tyres in this sort of temperatures, though.
Yeah, although funnily enough, they do. Well, I'm finding anyway that they lose temperature quite quickly. So you've got to keep working them, even under the safety car, and keep working the brakes. And if they're cold or the brakes are cold, then it's easy to chirp a wheel and flat spot the tyre. But they seem to last okay.
Giles, fantastic way to And race 1, podium finish there for you in the 41 machine. So what was the race like for you?
Well, it was most of it was behind a safety car actually, but it was a good race. It was a good race. It was all decided in the first bend really, with the accident that happened, which sadly knocked a few cars out, and I ended up picking up third place. Picked my way through the pieces, and we were there, which was good.
Triple header though gives us 2 more opportunities as well. It's been quite a busy season really.
It has been a very good. It's marvellous to be back racing full time. Sadly, not a European round, which we normally do, but it's been great to get back and it to be busy. This is the first time we've done a triple header, so this is quite unusual, but it's good. It's good fun. Very busy.
That keeps you pretty busy in between races, just sort of polishing up and doing any tweaks you need to do, doesn't it really?
Yes. Yeah, there's quite a lot of prep goes into these cars between races, doing the spanner checks, refueling, this sort of thing, checking the cars over, because they're quite fragile. But it's as long as we don't have any major problems, we'll be fine.
Michael, second place, that's a good way to start the weekend?
Yeah, it's good, especially after qualifying wasn't brilliant with traffic and red flags, so I wasn't happy I got everything out of the car in qualifying, so we started 4th, good start. And then that was pretty much the end of the race for the safety cars and stuff. We only got about 6 or 7 minutes after that, but it was good. The car felt really quick. I felt I was able to challenge Tom, which was nice. I think hopefully have something similar in the second race and give him a proper race, and might be able to go forward one more.
I was going to say, lap times wise, you're keeping pace with each other there.
Yeah. I was after qualifying, I wasn't really particularly happy with the cars. We made a couple of changes, which definitely helped, and so I felt I was definitely able to keep up with him, but it's very difficult to overtake. It's super tight. So I think traffic is a massive factor in being able to overtake. If someone gets balked a little bit, then that's where your opportunities are going to come, and not necessarily on pure pace, just because we're so tightly matched.
How's the season gone? Have you achieved all the goals so far?
Not really. No, we had a really good last 2 years. Won the championship both years, but we've had incidents with back marks and stuff that weren't really our fault and came off worse. We haven't finished a few races which have been outside of our control, and the races we have finished we've finished well. We've been really quick, and just a little bit of bad luck here and there have come in and has affected our results. So we're definitely quick. The championship doesn't really reflect that on our behalf, but hoping to finish much stronger.
Race 1 done and dusted, and race winner. Tom, that went pretty well for you. A little bit messy with the safety car there, but you had a good lead.
Yeah, I just concentrated on getting a good start really, and once had a good start, waited for the safety car to come in and just take it from there really. You know, Michael was ever present in my mirrors, as he always is. If I manage to, if I'm in front of him, he never goes away. So just sort of concentrated on trying to get to the end really.
At one point during race time, he was actually closing the gap fractionally, but then you managed to pull away again.
Yeah, I think I was a bit quick. I'm a bit quick around a couple of corners. He's a bit quick around a couple of corners. So I think if we get a good run each, then we're about equal. But I think I made a couple of mistakes. He closed in on me a bit. There's a little bit through the back markers as well. Yeah, it's pretty evenly matched, so it should be good for this afternoon.
How many years have you been doing this?
This car since 2014. So, and then we had another one before that. So, yeah, fair few years now. Actually.
And where do you stand in the championship overall, and have you achieved what you wanted to so far?
Haven't achieved what I wanted to yet because it's still open, but I'm currently in the lead. So hopefully a few more good finishes this weekend, and then we'll be getting there.
Tom Stoughton on pole for this one from Joshua Law. Michael Gibbins and Giles Billingsley row 2 from Richard Johnson and Timothy Tudor. Lights on, race 2 about to get underway. A little bit of creeping around the grid once again. The clerk might want to have a word with the drivers after that. It's a great start from Joshua Law. Tom Stoughton on the inside will have the advantage on that 3-wide battle for second position. Here is John Eiley. That's Grant Gibson going past, I think, in the treble 1 car, making a good run off the start. Got plenty of momentum into Paddock Hill Bend. But the race leader, Joshua Law, made a good start after that damage that he had in race number 1, the deranged wing. And the Pintos, though, it is John Harmer, Chris Snowden second, Trevor Welsh is third, then Mike Dodd and Nick Hyatt coming into shot now, then Clive Steeper and Nick Bailey. Nick in the number 12 Royale along Cooper Straight for the first time. So the two classes have got away very well indeed. David Horton chasing Richard Johnson. Richard everybody having a much better time of it on this start. Again, you saw how close it was. It was 3 wide for second position going into Paddock Hill Bend. Everybody trying to make the most of the start. It is tricky to overtake here, it's not impossible, as you heard in the interviews, but overtaking can be a premium. And Joshua Law it is that will lead. Johnson under pressure. Now it looks as though David Horton is going to be passed by Dominic Lesniewski, who is holding on to the outside here. That was a great move. That shows that you can overtake in these cars. Use the outside at Surtees, which he held on to, and grabbed the inside going into McLaren. A superb move, and one of the best we've seen on camera today. So Dominic starting in 9th place and looking to make further progress in his MCR. The MCR, the predominant chassis in the championship, built in Wales. So David Horton will try and get that position back, but Dominic looks like he's on a bit of a run at the moment, closing in on Richard Johnson in his MCR. Not near enough to have a stab at the moment. It's Giles Billingsley running in 4th place. Giles winning the Derek Bell subclass of the Duratec. There are 3 classes in Duratec. Duratec A, the new cars, Duratec B, the pre-2007 chassis, and then for the drivers that are over 60, we have the Derek Bell category. Most championships do over 35s or over 40s, but Sports 2 have over 60s. And Giles Billingsley, the reigning champion in the Derek Bell class. Peter Williams won it the year before. Roger Donnan was victorious in 2018. We're looking at a Pinto battle here with Mike Dodd coming under pressure from Nick Hyatt, back with Michael Gibbons. This was the battle we saw in race number 1. This time around though it is for 2nd place, and again the onboards really give you the speed of these cars. Top drivers, quickest drivers lapping in the 47-second bracket. The Pinto class lapping in the around about the 51s would probably be an average time, but again, extremely quick cars. Now the 3-second differential, if we want to take that, means that, as we said in race 1, there will be some traffic for the race leaders to deal with, and that might affect, certainly not going to affect the race leader. 2nd and 3rd pulling clear. There is Giles Billingsley, Dominic Lesniewski running in 5th place. David Horton trying to chase Richard Johnson, a little bit of a gap back to the other cars. Still John Harmer at the head of the Pintos at the moment. And it's actually clear. Chris Snowden running there ahead of Trevor Welsh, 2nd and 3rd. So Trevor busy trying to close in. A good battle on behind, and in fact now we've got Nick Hyatt ahead of Mike Dodd. Mike in the Tiger SC79, and 69 car is Nick Hyatt in the Lola T88/90. Chris Snowden being closed in though at the moment by Trevor Welsh. Tiger being chased by Lola. The names that of course are reminiscent of the classic days of Formula Ford, not only Formula Ford 1600 but Formula Ford 2000, which was the bigger engine bewinged formula that ran back in the day. And that's what the origins of Sports 2000 in the UK are very much based on, to the great John Webb who ran Brands Hatch and the MCD circuits as they were known then, as opposed to MSVR, which of course is now run by Dr. Jonathan Palmer. John Webb instigated the championship back in the day. Move on here, the Andrew Butler being passed by Grant Gibson, who continues the fine work that he started at Paddock Hill Bend on lap number 1. Here is Tony Barwell, busy chasing as well, up under the Burton Bridge once again. Peter Williams at the back of this group, watching to see how that is all going to pan out. Tony Barwell, one of the shared cars in his MCR, you heard about that in the interviews after race number 1. Welcome back to Brands Hatch, and we're on board with the 3rd place car. Michael Gibbons busy chasing Tom Stoughton for 2nd. and negotiating John Harmer, the leader of the Pinto class. There is John in the rear view camera. The race leader is still Joshua Law, but we've got a car off the circuit. It's Chris Snowden's Tiger off the track. Chris is out of the car and okay, but because of where the car is, the safety car coming out, it's our only retirement of this race so far, which again is testament to driving standards. And Joshua Law will be saying "oh flip" or words to that effect, because the lead that he had built up will be negated. Now I don't know what he's taken out of his tyres, but of course the danger is that if he's bullied his tyres getting away from the guys behind him, then he won't have the best of the tyres for the remainder of the race once the safety car is back in. So it's Joshua Law. I'm sure he's managed them well, having said that. So Josh, who had fastest lap in race number 1 and actually recovered for 14th place with the fastest lap, as Chris Snowden's car is there. We are ready to race once again. Safety car in. Chris Snowden's car is away to safety, and it is Josh Law that leads into Paddock Hill Bend, but Tom Stoughton goes high, wide and handsome, to quote the late great Brian Jones, and has a look. Michael Gibbins is in third. Stoughton can't do anything about Law out front at the moment. Now of course Tom Stoughton is challenged by Michael Gibbins. Stoughton, the championship leader, coming to Brands Hatch. Joshua Law was second. I think might have dropped to third on points after the finish in race number 1. Dominic Leslewski busy trying to close up through the order. Now we've got Joshua Law starting to break away a little bit. Puff of smoke there. John Harmer is past. No problem for John Harmer. He's still the leading Pinto driver at the moment. Trevor Welsh running second. Nick Hyatt is in third place as the cars enter the last lap. So safety car sort of bunching us up for a spectacular finish, and Joshua Law fending off Tom Stoughton, building a bit of breathing space as they go around Druids, because Stoughton and Gibbins are continuing what they started in race number 1. It's a fight over that second position. Gibbins is 6th in the championship coming to Brands. Derek Bell category led by Giles Billingsley. Pinto battles continues. Nick Bates at the head of the Duratec battle that we see going down through Graham Hill Bend. John Owen in the 28 car as well. But here is the checkered flag being ready for the race winner, Joshua Law. After damage in race number 1, takes the win in race 2. Tom Stoughton second, Michael Gibbins third. Here's John Harmer. We're on board with the man leading the Pinto race. This is the end of his 19th lap. Harmer wins the Pinto class from Trevor Welsh. Nick Hyatt is going to be third in the Pinto class from Mike Dodd. And another super race from the Sports 2. So it's 1 win apiece so far from Tom Stoughton and Joshua Law. Michael Gibbins in third from Dominic Lesniewski. Giles Billingsley winning the Derek Bell Trophy class. Richard Johnson next to David Horton and Nick Bates. Ashley Law in 9th ahead of Andy Chittenden, who completes the top 10. John Owen was 11th, with Tony Barwell next up ahead of Peter Williams and Roger Donnan. Nick Johnson 15th from John Eiley. Grant Gibson 17th, then Andrew Butler. Pinto's won by John Harmer. It's Historics 1 and 2. Trevor Welsh second. Nick Hyatt third from Mike Dodd. David Gorst, Clive Steeper, Joshua Needham and Nick Bailey. One non-finisher, which was Chris Snowden. The podium beckons for all of our class winners. Fastest lap going to Joshua Law, and fastest Pinto lap going to John Harmer. Let's join Barry on the podium.
Josh, great win there. Good lead pre-safety car, and then these two guys managed to catch you up a little bit.
Thanks. Yeah, it was. I got a great start, and then just sort of managed to get my head down and go a little bit, and then we had the safety car restart, and I thought I'd messed it up a bit, but managed to hold on just about. But it made it exciting. You know, it was really good fun. Loved it.
How was that for you?
Yeah, it was okay. Got the sort of standard pole start, which is never very good, and then just tried to stay with him, but I just couldn't, just didn't have the pace. So I was just busy watching my mirrors for Michael and making sure he didn't get past, to be perfectly honest.
Well done, third place, great podium position there. Got busy getting past some of those back markers as time went on.
Yeah, it always makes the race a bit interesting, and it can often give you opportunities. Unfortunately, I didn't quite get lucky today, but it was a good race for Tom, and I got close a few times, and I think it's half an opportunity and I would have taken it.
Trevor, great race there for you. Now, yeah, we were having a great battle with that white car there, and then obviously he went off there, but good race from your perspective.
Yeah, I was just trying to follow Chris and not do anything daft, hoping there would be an opportunity at the end, and it happened. I think something happened with his car, and then the safety car got me on the back of John, and I thought I might have had a little chance, but I'm thinking about points at the minute, so I had to be a little bit careful.
John, fantastic class win there. Good clear lead, and you were keeping up with these other Digitex guys.
Yeah, it was a decent lead, and then I thought, we haven't had a safety car in 10 minutes. That could be it could be a clean race. And then the safety car came out. I thought, oh no, it's
down to you.
It's gone.
Safety car, right?
Yeah, no. It was well, Chris went off, and it's not like him, so maybe he had a failure or something. But I thought that all the leads gone. But so I was looking frantically in the mirror to see who was behind me. I thought I just need to get a good start, restart, and keep it clean for a couple of minutes, and hopefully it'll be okay.
Here with Mike Lowe in the paddock. Mike, title sponsor of the series and a great supporter of the Sports 2000 with your creative funding solutions. Cracking event coming up this weekend. We've got 3 races, triple header, one of the first I think this season for it. How did you become involved with the championship?
I've always enjoyed motor racing, and I know some of the competitors in the team in the championship already. Team Law predominantly. They were really enthusiastic about it, and I couldn't help but get involved.
Beautiful liveried cars behind here. I mean, it really pops out there. And this weekend we've got the benefits of, thankfully, post-COVID, the fantastic thousands of people crowds-wise as well. So great integration between business and motorsport.
It is a great integration. We're lucky enough to be hosting a lot of our customers and suppliers this weekend, and they seem to be having a great time already. So looking forward to seeing how it all unfolds.
These are some of the fastest machines around this circuit as well. They're incredible.
They put some cars that are 10 times their value to shame. It's such a close championship, really fast and accessible as well. It's such a good value competition for the guys. It's really is a pleasure to be involved with. The camaraderie as well amongst the championship. They're like one big happy family, really.
The partnership between sponsors and motorsport is crucial to get anyone out on track, and indeed for the championship itself. So just tell us a little bit more about your business and what you're doing.
We're a finance company. We provide funding solutions predominantly for businesses but consumers as well. This year we've been extremely busy financing motorhomes and leisure vehicles. The staycation has been colossal this year because of COVID. We fund any equipment for racing, so it goes hand in glove with our business. We can finance racing cars, trailers, as I've said, motorhomes, and any other large tooling equipment. So actually, we can offer something back to the championship in that way.
Like you say, post-COVID, it's probably a great solution for many.
It is. If you're running a business, you always use finance, and we have access to virtually every kind of finance. So. Well, we can always add value to any businesses out there.
Joshua Law, by virtue of winning race number 2, starts on pole position. Tom Stoughton alongside Michael Gibbins on row 2 with Dominic Lesniewski. John Harmer on pole position for the Pintos with Trevor Welsh alongside them, Nick Hyatt and Mike Dodd. I think it's less creepy going on the grid this time, so maybe the clerk did have a word. Was that anticipation of the start by Joshua Law? Gets away well from the inside line, and it's Tom Stoughton taking the battle to him, on board with Michael Gibbins in third place, side by side for the lead, and it looks like Stoughton has got it as they go up to Druids. Now coming around the outside is Gibbins, side by side at Druids. How's that going to end? We look back at the field going through, and Michael Gibbins has got second, but in a lesser formula Joshua Law would have run him off the road. But that was great racing and depicts what Sports 2000 is all about. That was clean racing at Druids on the exit of Druids, and Joshua Law could have taken him out, but he didn't. They gave each other room, and as a result now we've got Tom Stoughton leading from Michael Gibbins. Stoughton getting away at the end of lap number 1. Joshua Law, the race 2 winner, is in 3rd place. Then it's Giles Billingsley, who's got ahead of Dominik Lesniewski off the line. Another very quick start, wasn't it, by Billingsley, the Derek Bell class winner. So the race settling down nicely. We'll be hoping for no safety cars in this 20-minute race. The 3rd of the first triple header of the season for Sports 2000. Tom Stoughton, the championship leader, coming to Brands. Josh Law was 2nd. Dominik Lesniewski was in 3rd place. An outside line there by Nick Hyatt, and again it works. You can see the drivers understand how to race against each other here, and even though you've got the enclosed wheels, the drivers, you know, not doing the forcing each other off onto the rumble strips or into the gravel. This is really great racing, super start to the race, great advertisement for this championship. So Stoughton leading from Gibbons with Joshua Law in 3rd place. Those three beginning again to break clear from the chasers behind. I think we've still got John Harmer leading the Pinto class at the moment. Wonderful wide angle view from Joshua Law in 3rd place. They really have developed the race lead, and here again looking for a hat-trick is John Harmer. Harmer clear at the moment of Trevor Welsh. Trevor coming under pressure from Chris Snowden. We'll see. Chris has obviously had whatever problems he had in race 2 firmly behind him, challenging for 2nd position at the moment. 4th in class is Nick Hyatt, all the way back, and Chris Snowden, a very noted club racer here in the UK, piling the pressure on Trevor Welsh's Lola. So that's Tiger chasing Lola along the Brabham Straight, and John Harmer getting away again. He's got a decent lead. You never want to take it easy, do you, in any form of motor racing? The final race of the weekend for the Sports 2000s, and this is a change of place here on the podium positions for the Pintos. Going through, Mike Fry passes Trevor Welsh, but Welsh is going to get the cut back on the return along the Brabham Straight. In the mix as well is Nick Hyatt, who wants to come through, almost as if Trevor Welsh wasn't too worried about that, maybe knew that he'd got the speed back onto the main straight. I tell you what, Nick Hyatt's having a go, has a look at Mike Fry. Mike Fry starting off the back, wasn't in race 2, so working his way through the field, already up onto a podium position in the Pintos as we join Tony Barwell chasing John Owen, who in turn is chasing Ash Law. There is Andy Chittenden at the back of this group. These are all disputing 9th position in the Digitex. Ash Law holding sway at the moment, with John Owen trying to close in. We ride on board again with John Owen up into Druids. Again, the speed of the car's absolutely awesome as we go back to the 3rd place battle here in the Pintos. Nick Hyatt goes on the outside at paddock. Will he go for the cutback? We've got Mike Fry challenging Trevor Welsh as well, but Mike Fry leaves the door open and Nick Hyatt is going to go through. So some early race progress by Mike Fry coming through the field. He's going to have to work to try and regain those positions. Plenty of passing going on behind. I think we've got the Duratec runners starting to make their way through the field as well. Still Tom Stoughton from Michael Gibbons here, and you can see one of the Pinto cars now between them and the green and white Creative Funding Solutions car of Joshua Law. Blue flags being shown. In car with Michael Gibbons, again in 2nd position. Oh, very nip and tuck there for the race leader in the distance, going through past a couple of the Pinto runners, and this is what this racing is all about. It's never an easy race win, because you will have the Pintos and the perhaps newer drivers, the less experienced drivers, to have to deal with traffic-wise, particularly on a short circuit. Plenty of traffic for these guys to deal with. The safety cars probably in some respects might be a bit of a blessing, because it kind of sorts them out a little bit, although we're back with Mike Fry still busy chasing Trevor Welsh. Great battle between those two at the moment. I think Nick Hyatt has cleared those, and Tom Stoughton building a little bit of a lead. The traffic, I was going to say, has fallen kindly for him, but of course he's had to negotiate the traffic as well. Michael Gibbins trying to close up. Great shot of Michael going past Chris Snowden as Chris in the rear facing camera, and Chris running in second place at the moment in the Pintos. It looks like a hat-trick is on the cards for John Harmer, who built up the lead in race 2, and didn't want, there is John going through shot. So the Duratec cars beginning to close in on the race leading Pinto. So Tom Stoughton still there, in car with John Owen once again in this scrap for 9th place. 54 car is Joshua Needham, who leaves some room on the inside, and the Duratec boys going through. You can see the new driver cross on the back of Joshua Needham's car. Slide again, and Ashley Law still there at the moment ahead of John Owen. Under the Burton Power Bridge into Druids we go again. Ashley Law in the MCR. Best result this year, 7th position in round 5, Alton Park. The championship having opened at Donington. Brands Hatch GP was the second event. Alton Park, racing Cadwell back here on the Indy circuit for Ford Power Live this weekend, so plenty of things for all fans of the Blue Oval engines to marvel at this weekend. Plenty of saloon car racing here as well, but this the quickest formula on display this weekend. A little bit tail happy there was John Owen, in car with Tony Barwell again. Across the line goes Tony Barwell, at the moment running in 9th position. And this the battle for the lead. Tom Stoughton has been closed in on now by Michael Gibbins. Stoughton, championship leader coming here. Gibbins, remember, down in 6th place. Had some DNFs to his credit, so he's all out for race wins at the moment, and to see how far up the championship order he can climb. Now normally I would say the camera, the onboard camera, accentuates the gap, but if anything it's making him look a little bit closer. And he's closing up, the defending champion closing up. Gibbins champion in 2020 and 2019, also 2016. Tom Stoughton champion in 2017 and 2018. And off the track goes Joshua Needham. David Gorst goes through, Nick Johnson goes through as well, and Joshua waiting for a safe moment to rejoin. That's actually written in the MSA Blue Book. Giles Billingsley is having an issue, so the Derek Bell class winner looks like he won't be taking the Derek Bell class win here. I think that the lead in that class inherited now by Roger Donnan, so Roger perhaps on for a win in the Derek Bell class. Plenty of traffic to deal with. Michael Gibbins still busy chasing Tom Stoughton. This is the moment perhaps when he might be able to weave his way through the traffic. They're closing up on Mike Dodd. He's got him through on the inside line. Gibbins is going through on the inside. He read that superbly. And now we'll see whether Tom Stoughton can fight back. They're almost 4 wide there. Look at the rear-facing camera. And Gibbins has got through, used the opportunity exceptionally well there to go through and grab the lead. And there might be more traffic to see a reversal of that a little bit later on. All very close stuff. Nick Bates is there in the mix. Nick running in 6th position. 77 Tony Barwell, then Andy Chittenden. 9th and 10th place at the moment on the road. Nick Bates is in 6th position. And now in car with the new race leader, Michael Gibbins. So if you count the pole position start, this is our 3rd race leader. Joshua Law started on pole and had his nose in front off the line. So this 20-minute race, and you can see Gibbins is actually starting to pull away now. Fastest lap of the race is with Tom Stoughton back on lap 4, the man who is in 2nd place, but there's a little bit of a gap now between Gibbins and Stoughton. So it looks like Michael is going to take, it's going to be 3 different winners over the course of our triple header. That's exactly what race fans want to see. and again, a terrific advertisement for this championship. So Andy Chittenden coming under pressure from Gibbins. I'm not sure whether Andy is going to be passed or not. Let's have a look. Through the left-hander at Surtees, probably we'll see blue flags being waved, and it's going to have to be a run, I think, by Michael Gibbins. He's going to try and nip up on the inside line of Chittenden here, which he will do, and he's just going to get his nose in front, I think, at the flag. Irrespective of that, it is a win for Michael Gibbins from Tom Stoughton. Josh Law takes third place, and it's going to be, well, 3 different winners in the Duratec category, but it's 3 wins out of 3 for the 27 car, the Tiger SC80 of John Harmer. And we look back, second in class is Chris Snowden. Chris has had a good race here, but John Harmer will make it 3 out of 3 in his Tiger. Chris Snowden in the 81 Tiger, number 32, 81 being the year it was built, in second place. Nick Hyatt in third. But here comes John Harmer across the line to take the Pinto victory at Brands Hatch, and here is the result. Michael Gibbins from Tom Stoughton and Joshua Law. Richard Johnson in fourth from Dominic Lesniewski. Nick Bates sixth from John Owen and David Horton. Andy Chittenden in ninth. 10th position goes to Tony Barwell from Roger Donald, winning the Derek Bell category within the Duratec. Grant Gibson next from John Eiley and Nick Johnson. Andy Butler next. John Harmer 16th, wins the Pintos from Chris Snowden and Nick Hyatt. Trevor Welsh next up from Mike Fry, Clive Steeper. Finishes completed by Mike Dodd, David Gorst, Giles Billingsley, Joshua Needham and Nick Bailey. 3 fine races for you here.
First place, a tough race there.
Yeah, it was really difficult. It was running behind Tom for so long. I couldn't run underneath him. I was just losing too much front downforce. But I knew my best opportunity was going to be in the traffic when you get caught in the wrong place at the wrong time, and I just stayed with him, just looked after tyres as long as possible to wait for that opportunity to present. And we caught a few back markers all lapping each other, and I picked the right side, he picked the wrong side, and we got around. And yes, it's a really positive way to end the weekend.
So Josh, the creative funding car, you bring it home there on the podium, so that's pretty good.
Yeah, really happy with that. Obviously not as good as yesterday when we won, but today it's lovely to be on the podium again. And there was some really good racing out there, and it was close and very exciting, especially with the back markers. You know, when you come up to those. It was great, really good.
Can't get much better than that.
That was really good actually. Full green all the way, so it's quite hard work. And I saw, I was watching my mirrors and saw Chris had got obviously a mega start starting from the back for Snowden, and he was starting to close on me. And I thought, okay, I don't want to get into trouble here, so I just thought I need to find a bit of pace from somewhere. So I just sort of, managed to get a bit quicker, a few tenths, and then the front tyres are done by the end. So I was just trying to sort of experiment lines and just trying to keep the pace up, just keeping ahead. But so it was a very tactical race rather than car to car, but brilliant.
Nick, hard-fought race there, third place, good weekend.
Very good weekend, yeah. I've actually had a year out, so getting back in the car has been fantastic. First time in this one, so we had some really clean racing. We had a bit of a funny start grid where the Duratec went on first and we go second. When over the course of the weekend I was getting used to the flag coming down, but nevertheless I still dropped back to fifth at the start and had a few fights to get back up to third and managed to maintain it, so very happy.
Sadly, that's all we've got time for today, but please join us again for some Creative Funding Solutions Sports 2000 Championship action. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.